Michael Jackson blocked from his first #1 on one chart by BTS. For the past month or so, Michael Jackson's music has gained considerably in terms of both sales and streams. The surge is connected to his highly anticipated biopic, Michael, which finally arrived in theaters earlier this spring. The superstar's name began reappearing on Billboard's charts in earnest before the movie finally landed, and for weeks since then, Americans and listeners around the world have seemingly not been able to get enough of the smashes that made him the king of pop. The past several weeks have been incredibly exciting for Jackson's catalog, as he has racked up dozens of appearances on charts that did not exist while he was alive or which were compiled differently during his heyday, and it is clear that the human race is still deeply in love with his music. Jackson nearly reaches #1 for the first time on a tally that was introduced more than a decade after his passing, but the most successful boy band of the past decade beats him to the summit. Michael Jackson's Billie Jean climbs again. On this week's Billboard Global EXCL US, Jackson's Billie Jean surges almost all the way to #1. The career-defining hit, which has become in many ways his signature tune in the more than 15 years since he died, rises from No. 3 to #2 on Billboard's ranking of the most popular songs all around the planet, based on sales and streams from every country outside of the United States. Michael Jackson blocked from #1 by BTS. Only BTS keeps Jackson from a monumental posthumous leader. The South Korean septet holds at #1 with Swim, the lead single from its comeback album Erarang. Swim debuted in the peak position in early April, earning the group its 8th leader. In the 9 periods since then, Swim has largely held on to its control over the throne, only stepping aside twice. BTS may match its own run at #1 with Dynamite. Of the 8 songs BTS has pushed to #1 on the Billboard Global EXCL US, only one has ruled for longer than Swim. Dynamite, which soared to the top space in September 2020, becoming one of the first rulers on the then newly introduced ranking, ruled the tally for 8 frames. If Swim can hold on for another week, which seems entirely likely, or perhaps return if the cut does step aside, it will match Dynamite and possibly eventually pass it. Michael Jackson reaches a new career peak, while Jackson does not make it to #1 on the Billboard Global EXCL US, he does climb to a new career high. He has only appeared inside the top 10 with 2 tracks, Billie Jean and Beat It. Both songs debuted on the roster before this year, but they lifted to their all-time highs this month. Beat It stalled in 5th place on the chart dated May 16. Last week, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough almost broke into the region, but instead peaked at No. 11. Michael Jackson has charted 17 total hits. Jackson has scored 17 hits on the Billboard Global EXCL US. Most of those tracks first hit the roster in May 2026, tied to the immediate box office success of Michael. Even those that didn't, such as Billie Jean, Beat It, and Thriller, soared to never-before-seen positions within the last month. Billie Jean previously ruled the world. Jackson might not conquer the Billboard Global EXCL US, but he did sit atop the Billboard Global 200 just days ago. Billie Jean falls from #1 to #8 on the entirely worldwide tally, pushed downward by 7 Drake songs that debut as he takes over the charts. That's what we can say. Don't forget to support our channel by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. We thank you all for your support.